Hey, ValleyFlyin, what are the top 5 teams in Marvel Strike Force to use on war defense? Well, ValleyFlyin, there are 5 teams in Marvel Strike Force that are specifically designed to be used on war defense. You are right about that, but what order would you rank these teams? And are there any other teams that are worthy of an honorable mention? Well, that is what I'm going to reveal in this video. And if you want to find out where your favorite team ranks on this list, you know what to do. Yeah, let's go. Whoa, hold on, wait. What are you doing? Oh, I'm gonna start the video. I know, but it's kind of my thing, right? Well, other people have done it before, right? All right, you're right. Okay. All right. 3, 1, 2, 1. 3. Let's go smash it.
ValleyFlyin.
What is up, Valley Maniacs? ValleyFlyin here. I am back. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're staying safe. In this video, we are talking about the top 5 war defense teams in Marvel Strike Force. Now, I know what you're saying. There's 5 teams that were designed for war defense. Are they going to be on the list? Yes, every single one of them is going to be on the list. But where are they going to rank, and why do I rank them in certain places? That is what we're going to talk about in this video. Plus, we're going to talk about some honorable mentions as well to help you round out your 8 war defense teams. Before we get into that, guys, let's talk about some Valley merch. Yes, there's a sale going on at TeePublic right now, guys. Wanted to point out a couple new ones in the store. The Mr. Green, the Alt Mr. Green, and the Whale Out shirt. All of them from Liquid Strider Designs, aka Strider. He's done a lot of designs for the MSF community. He's made the intro, he's made my logo, and he's made these as well. And guys, if you use the link in the description, it will support the channel. But anything that says Liquid Strider Designs also going to help out Strider. So if you want to support him and get some cool shirts, check out these designs. And I think he did this one as well. So check those out, guys. And also want to mention live streaming tomorrow on YouTube and Twitch. Normal time, sometime in the morning, but Saturday. I'm also going to be live streaming on Twitch for a PvP tournament. So make sure you guys check out the live stream tomorrow for more details on that. But let's get to this list.
Number 5.
All right, and coming in at number 5, guys, is the big bad Marauders squad. Mr. Sinister, Mystique, Sabretooth, Strife, and a 5th member. And it really depends on your roster and what you're doing with your teams on war offense and defense on who this 5th member is going to be. Kingpin is a very common choice here. Ultron is another common choice. I've seen some people use Cable in this team because he does have that mutant synergy with his clone right here, Strife. Actually, not so much Strife synergy, but with that mutant synergy, he's going to get some benefits from this team as well. Now, what makes this team so scary is this guy right here, Mr. Sinister. And it really depends on what the AI does. Sometimes the AI clones the right character from your team and you're kind of screwed because it's not good. But a lot of time, the majority of the time, the AI Mr. Sinister is going to clone the wrong person on the team, which is why this team is very, very strong, but coming in at number 5 and not coming in that number 1 spot. Now, how do you counter this Marauders team? Well, there's a few teams that can punch up against this Marauders team. And what I mean by punch up is if you use a lower collection power team, you can face a higher collection power Marauders team and still win to a certain extent. Usually the cutoff for a lot of these punch ups is about 10-20%. Probably anything above that is you're going to be in trouble. But what can counter this Marauders team? Fantastic Four does that pretty good. AIM can counter depending who that 5th spot is. BKT is also a good counter. Power Armor works very well if you're facing the Ultron version of this team, and X-Men pretty much counters every team in the game. But as far as soft counters, so these are teams that can punch down, which means you need to go in with a stronger team to face this team on war. Defenders can do that pretty good. Hero Brawlers can do that pretty good as well if you're punching down, obviously. And Ultron is another good one if you're not using him on an Aimtron or another team. So Marauders, yes, very, very good team on war defense.
Number 4.
And coming in at number 4 is the first team that we got with characters with some war defense bonuses, and that is that Coulson Fury Shield team. And it consists of Agent Coulson, Shield Medic, Shield Security, Nick Fury, and Shield Assault. And this is a very scary team if you're not going in with the right counter. Coulson has some big, huge damage, putting taunt on your biggest damage dealer. Shield Medic brings Coulson back to life if he dies. Security with that auto taunt when a character drops below 50% health. Nick Fury, minions, buffs all around, and Assault gives more crit chance, which means more potential turn meter rewind. So yeah, just a nightmare to deal with on ward defense. But the reason they are a little bit above Marauders is because there are less counters. They're still counterable, but you don't have as many options for this team. I think the best option, the biggest hard counter for this team is that Brotherhood 2.0 with Mystique and Sabretooth got out of that team and Blob and Toad in that team. That team is designed specifically to counter this Fury Shield team. X-Men is countering pretty much everyone. Shield Coulson Fury is no exception. Inhumans also work a little countering this team. You could go in with slightly weaker Inhumans going up against this Fury Shield Coulson team and win. And you got a few soft counters, which you probably need to go in with a stronger version of these teams to counter this team. That includes the Fantastic Four and the Supernatural team. Both of them work very good, but you probably want to do punch downs against this Coulson Fury team.
Number 3.
All right, and coming in at number 3, guys, is the Asgardians. And this team is so tricky, guys. There's so many things that can go wrong when facing this team. It's like, which character do you target? Do you go with Hela to get rid of all the extra Gregs on the field? Do you go with Loki to stop him from throwing people into stealth? Or do you go with Thor to stop that AoE from constantly attacking you? I think it's really going to depend on your matchup, what team you're using, what the strength of your opponent looks like. But these are one of the first 3 targets. You might be able to take out one, but then you still got 2 more problems that you got to deal with. So very, very tricky team. Now, when looking at counters for this Asgardian team, there are a few ways to counter this team pretty reliably. Not as many as that Coulson team or the Marauders team, which is why they're rated a little higher. So some teams that have worked pretty well for me is the Aimtron team. So that is that version of Aim where Ultron is on that team. And that, for me, that includes Scientist Supreme, Assaulter, Graviton, Ultron, and Aim Security in that order, guys. That works pretty well against this Asgardian team and is capable of punching up against a stronger Asgardian team. Supernatural also works very good. I've seen screenshots of people using it. My Supernatural not that strong, so I haven't done it firsthand, but I know that Supernatural does work against this team. And of course, the X-Men, they work against everybody. But there's a few other teams that are capable of winning against this Asgardian team. Granted, that Asgardian team is a little weaker than you, so punching down against this team, Fantastic Four seems to work pretty good. Another option for Fantastic Four is doing a double tap. So going in with a sacrifice team, using up Hela's ultimate, using up Loki's special, and you could have some pretty large punch-ups with the Fantastic Four if you go in with a sacrifice team and are willing to two-shot this team. But there's an Ultimus Kree hybrid team that works pretty well with Ultimus. Korath is on that team. A few other Kree is on that team. That team works pretty good. And the symbiotes also work pretty good, especially with a lot of Gregs dying. You will need that passive of Carnage and Symbiote Spider-Man, but they work pretty good as well for counter this scary, scary war defense team.
Number 2.
That Hydra team, and if you cut off one head, another one arises, and that's pretty much what's happening with this Hydra team. Red Skull just keeps bringing these guys back to life. What is the best version of this team? Well, it's going to depend on your red stars, how much you've built these characters up. But all things being equal, guys, Red Skull, Hydra Sniper, Hydra Scientist, Hydra Rifle Trooper, not Grenadier, and Hydra Armored Guard. And obviously, you want to place Armored Guard on one or the other. Who do you place next to him? I think the 2 likely candidates, and I've seen both. Both have been very effective. Hydra Rifle Trooper, because if he dies, big AoE attack happening. And Red Skull, because he's not taking damage while the rest of these minions are alive. So both good candidates. I've faced both. They're both tough to face, so either one should be fine. But yeah, just make sure you place Hydra Armored Guard on one end. Very, very tough. Not a lot of counters to this team. There's pretty much one team that is a hard counter to this Hydra team. That is the Inhumans, and that's because of Black Bolt. When he kills a character, they can't be brought back to life, which means Red Skull his big war passive not really working how it should when you're going up against the Inhumans team. So they can be countered by the Inhumans. They can be countered by Aimtron as well with a slight punch up. I've done that, works very well. We mentioned them previously, that Aim Ultron hybrid, they work pretty well as far as punching up. But as far as punching down, some soft counters, the one that I like the best, and usually this is a pretty big punch down, so I'm using a pretty beefy BKT. That team works very well. You're getting some survivability from Minerva. You're getting a lot of AoEs from Rocket, so that team does work well. A lot of kills going off around if you're punching down enough. X-Men, they pretty much counter everybody. They can counter this team, but you're gonna need to use that Cyclops version, and you're gonna need to make sure that you split up your AoE attacks. You need to use that big AoE attack from Cyclops. You need to use that big AoE attack from Storm and Dark Phoenix, all at separate turns. So you're taking out different waves of this Hydra team and the symbiotes, especially with that passive of Carnage T4. This team is going to work pretty good against this team as well. Haven't seen too many punch ups, but I have seen some punch downs. But yeah, Hydra, very, very scary. If you're not using one of these teams, you're in trouble, guys.
Number 1.
And number 1 is the Mercenary team. Very, very tough to kill right now. Very fast. A lot of damage comes on very, very quickly. And that team pretty much revolves around 3 characters: Taskmaster, Merc Lieutenant, Merc Riot Guard. The other 2 characters, you could use whatever mercenaries that you want, and that team will still work very well. I use the Bullseye Korath version. Mercenary Sniper is another good candidate. Killmonger works very well on this team, but then you risk kind of splitting up your Wakandans team. But whatever version of this team you want to run, as long as you got some very strong Taskmaster, Merc Lieutenant, Merc Riot Guard, this team is going to be working very well and be very, very hard to counter. Probably some hybrid teams out there that work very well, but as far as just set teams, there's not a lot of options. The only one that I've seen that is pretty reliable with some punch-ups against this Merc team is going to be that Supernatural team. And you're going to need a few T4s for that team to work properly. Mortal's special, Mortal's passive, Doctor Strange's passive. I have his ult as well, and then the passive for Ghost Rider. You need all those teams for that Supernatural, all those T4s, excuse me, for that Supernatural team to work well. But they will counter this team. They don't really do well against debuffs. X-Men is another team that works well against them, but even that is kind of iffy. You need that Cyclops version of that team. Brotherhood 2.0 is another team that I've heard mentioned that can punch up against this team. I personally have not seen the screenshots yet of a Brotherhood team punching up, but I have seen a Brotherhood team punching down against this team, and I have personally punched down against this team with a Brotherhood team, so that works. Now, you will need the 2.0 team, the version with Toad and Blob, for it to work, but that does work. AIM works well. Aimtron works well. But yeah, this is a very scary team. Like I said, they come on very fast. They have a lot of turns. They can take out a team before you even have a turn if you go in with the wrong matchups. And if you guys have seen any of my past videos, they've taken out a few teams without me even doing one move. So very, very scary team. They are at the top of the heap, guys. And that is my top 5. Let me know what you think of it. It is time now for some honorable mentions, though. All right, as far as honorable mentions, guys, there's 2 characters that I want to mention. Not even full teams, just 2 characters. And the first is Captain Marvel. Huge healing on her passive, huge damage all around. She's a beast to deal with. I've seen her on a few different teams. Seen her on some hybrid teams. And most often, I see her on an Avengers team and a Hero Brawlers team. Either one, very scary. So Captain Marvel is my first honorable mention. And the second one, wasn't sure if I should include him because I know a lot of people are shifting him to war offense, but Ultron, still a very strong character on war defense. If you don't go in with the right teams and you let him start to get these bots off, start to get his cooldowns off, it's going to be a very rough match for you. So Captain Marvel, Ultron, I use Ultron on offense. So Ultron is not on my defense team, but Captain Marvel is one of the MVPs for war defense. So that is pretty much 6 teams. You got the top 5, you got a Captain Marvel or an Ultron team. We need 2 more to round out your war defense. And for that, there are 3 teams. Not strong enough to make this top 5 list, but strong enough for me to place them on war defense. And the 3 teams I want to mention there that you got the options, depending on how strong your roster is: Defenders, Wakanda, Sinister Six, All of them are pretty good teams, not really capable of this top 5 though, but if you want to round out your war defense team, I would recommend using one of those 3, unless you got some crazy roster with some crazy red stars somewhere else. But that is about it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on my top 5. I think the top 5 is pretty much set, but do you agree with my order? Do you think the mercenary team should be on top? Or do you think it should be someone more like Hydra or Asgardians? Let me know in the comments, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video because there are more to come. And if you do enjoy it, make sure you subscribe, make sure you tell all your friends, share this with your friends, smash on that notification bell so you get notified every time we do a new video. Live stream coming tomorrow, live stream on Saturday, so a lot of good stuff. Make sure you check me out. Check me out on social media so you get notified anytime a new video goes up or a live stream goes up or anything else like that. And give me a Hulk fist bump before you go ValleyFlyin.